So this is Pt2 Open. Just wanted to play this video. This has been going on in the news as well. Dealing with the E-files, the Epstein files. A lot of human trafficking has been a lot of human traffickers has been arrested. As it says, 600 arrested, 170 victims rescued in California. Human trafficking crackdown. So I'm just gonna play the video, and after I'm gonna get some scriptures.
Large part of the operation taking place right here in LA County, considered a hotbed for human trafficking.
Among the victims, teenagers from all over the country, some as young as 13. And Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia is live in downtown LA with all the details. Sid.
It's the 12th year in a row that this task force has been going after human traffickers. And in this latest one that happened about a week and a half ago, they made hundreds of arrests.
Human trafficking and child exploitation are devastating crimes.
The last week of January, local, state, and federal law enforcement teams went out to pick up solicitors and providers of young girls and boys involved in sex trafficking. They call it Operation Reclaim and Rebuild. Statewide, more than 600 arrests were made. 156 adults and 14 children were rescued from the streets of LA and up and down the state. The task force also confiscated several weapons in their week-long sting. Young girls and boys given a second chance to reclaim and rebuild their lives.
Survivors need care. They need time. They need a chance to rebuild their lives. And our partnerships with these organizations are what allows those individuals to reclaim their lives and rebuild their lives.
There's a number of service organizations the deputy chief alluded to that help the victims of human trafficking start over and rebuild their lives. These groups work hand in hand with law enforcement to help survivors of human trafficking. Sarah Elender is with Saving Innocence.
Because together we create something far greater than the sum of all of our parts. A unified and collective, collaborative response to meet survivors just where they are with just what they need.
Right now, those involved in human trafficking of a minor face a felony. For the trafficking of an adult, it's a misdemeanor.
So I would ask our state leaders who actually created the felony dealing with minors involved with human sex trafficking to also go ahead and make it all of human sex trafficking is a violent and serious offense.
So if you suspect human trafficking may be going on where you live, or you may know a victim of human trafficking, the easiest thing you can do to help that victim out, call 911 and report it. Live in downtown LA, I'm Sid Garcia, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
So there you have it. So as I said, 600 arrested, 170 victims rescued in California. Human trafficking crackdown. So. And this is still going to be going on, and we understand that Esau deals with controlled opposition. So the people that got arrested, and that's just that's really just so they really arrest some type of people. The 600 arrested are really like the fall guys, just so the people can be pleased that they are cracking down on the human trafficking people. But best believe this is still going on, and it's still going to continue, because the only ones that's still not going to be held accountable are the elites of Esau. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, so on and so forth. Them are going to be the only Edomites that's not going to be arrested. And hence why we're going to wait upon the judgment of Yahweh Mosai to be placed upon them. But I just want to give the scripture because, in the law, it speaks about a person who kidnaps people. So, for years, we always see them. I remember back then when I was a kid, I would see them little newspapers, and they will always have like an ad with children names in there, or a children face on the cover that they're missing. And best believe all them people, all them little children and kids that went missing. The rest of it, they got sacrificed, man. In them you know, in them islands and, you know, wherever they go. But this is Exodus 21 and verse 16. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him. So stealeth, you know, that's kidnapping. You know, and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So that's a judgment on it. You know, a person, a kidnapper, a human trafficker, you know, they're supposed to be put to death, man, according to this law. You know, but, you know, we live in a society with Esau. He doesn't keep the law, statutes, commandments, so he's gonna, you know, he's gonna just lock him up for give him football years in the prison, which you know, you're supposed to just put a man to death, man, because, you know, that's the judgment on it. You know, and this scripture applies to us too, because we've been kidnapped as a people. You know, us so-called Negroes, all 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, but especially for you Negroes, you know, you were kidnapped from the shores of West Africa, you know, and brought over here in America, man. You know, so Esau violated this law, so this law gonna be applied to him, because when our Lord Yahweh Shah come back, he's judging according to the law, because the law is not done away with. You know, the law is still intact, man. And let's just get precepts to go into that on how the law is still intact today. You know, because Yahweh Shai, he even said himself, he did not come to destroy the law. Let's see, I came not. Yeah. Yep, this is Matthew 5 and 17. It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy it, but to fulfill. Right, so, you know, when our Lord Yahweh Shai came on the scene, he didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets. You know, because, you know, we understand the prophets prophesied, such as Daniel, Ezekiel, Isaiah. When he came on the earth, he didn't come to destroy. He came to fulfill. He came to fulfill what was written of him in the law, in the scriptures, in the prophecies, man. You know, so this shows that the law is not done away with. You know, the law is still intact, man. So when Yahweh Shai come back, he's judging according to the law. You know? So, and with them Epstein files, man, all these celebrities, these prominent celebrities on that list, you know, and, you know, we've been, like, beginning with our Apostle Elder Mills, so we've been saying this for years, man, that what are they doing to them children and them adults that go missing, them babies? You know, they're sacrificing to them gods, man. You know, the Molech, and the scripture going to that. You know, they're sacrificing to devils. You know, they're cannibalists. You know, they showed you in that movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre on how these devils really get down, man. They best believe them devils be they flay the skin off their victims and they wear them. They do stuff like that, man. You know, to devils, which they really worship all them Canaanite gods. You know, yep. This is Psalms 106 and verse. Now this is talking about our people. You know, the wicked of our people that was mixed, that was amongst them Hamites in the other heathen nations. But this is Psalms 106, but you can apply this today because Jake is doing the same thing, you know, amongst these celebrities and stuff. But this is Psalms 106 and verse, let's see, let's start out verse 34. Psalms 106 and 34, it says, they did not destroy the nations, concerning whom Yahweh commanded them, but were mingled, meaning mixed, among the heathen, and learned their works. So that's what Jake did. The wicked of our people. Because during the conquest of the land of Canaan, which the land of Canaan later became the land of Israel, we didn't destroy all those Hamites in certain regions. The Lord left Hamites in there amongst the different Hamite nations from Ham, from Cush, from Gath, the Girgashites, just to name a few. The Lord still left some of those Hamites in their land to test our people of their integrity, to see if they'll worship their gods. And lo and behold, the wicked of our people, they got entangled with their gods, them Canaanite gods, and they started worshiping them. But it says, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And what was their works? Them Hamite works. Child sacrifice, being a men loving men and women loving women, anal sex, and just a lot of perverted customs, man. It says, and they served their idols, which were a snare to them. See, so the wicked of our people back then, they served their idols. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. See, so this is nothing new. This was going on back then amongst these Hamite nations and these other nations too. Moab and Ammon, they was doing that. So this is nothing new, man. And we understand that Esau is a culture. And we understand that Esau is a culture vulture. So Esau doesn't have his own heritage, his own customs. He steals from other people's cultures and customs and make them all into one. So Esau, he imitates them Canaanite gods, and he does them today. Cause why is it the owl, the owl of Molech? Why is that owl at the Bohemian Grove? It was even an owl at the Epstein one of I watched the El Yashwama video. He had brought out that it was an owl, a statue of an owl at Epstein's Molech owl at Epstein's island. So that's a god that they sacrifice to their women, children, and men and women. It said, yeah, they sacrifice their sons and their daughters unto devils and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood, man. Right? So that was going on back then, and it's going on today. And that's why that's another reason why this place is going to be destroyed, because so much bloodshed here. This land is greatly polluted. When you go to Numbers 33, it speaks about, that. Numbers 33, or maybe 35 or 33. Yep. Numbers 35 and verse 33. So you shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land. So a lot of bloodshed that has been shed here in America. This place is defiled, greatly defiled. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but the blood of him that shed it. So the only way to cleanse this land is shedding the blood of those that shed it, which were these Edomites. But the Lord we understand the Lord gonna utterly destroy this place with fire and brimstone. This place, America, man, burn a lot of grape. So this is one of the reasons why, this place is gonna be taken out, because of so much bloodshed here. And let's see. I'm curious to know what the other translations say. Let's see. NLT version, this will ensure that the land where you live will not be polluted, for murder pollutes the land. See, it hasn't been a lot of murder here, and no sacrifice except the execution of the murderer can purify the land from murder. And right, man, and Esau is our murderer. You know, so Esau has to be taken out. Esau in his land, America. You know,